here because you can't really, oh, there we go. Okay. What I'm going to be tying, this is going to be December's monthly lure challenge, and it's going to be, I call it a variant of the mop fly. It's the mop yarn fly because I'm not using a mop fly or a mop. So I'm just going to be using yarn. All right, let me take my glasses off here, okay, and describe what I'm going to be doing with this. I'm going to see what the biggest fish I can catch with this particular fly. All right, and let's see, last month we did the band fishing fly, and that was, let's see, largest fish was, I think it was like an 11-inch bass. Wasn't very big, but we kind of did it in the middle of the month. But for this one, this is going to be the mop yarn fly, and I'm going to be using it to go fishing for most likely trout. We've got some places here locally that are going to be trout or stocked with trout, specifically Bethany Lakes, just right down the road from me here in the city of Allen, Texas. Okay, and well, I'm kind of excited about this because I'm pretty certain that this thing will catch something. Two reasons: the mop fly in general catches fish, and this particular UV yarn has some UV properties. And then on top of it, I've got some UV dubbing right here, UV ice dub, pearl ice dub dubbing. So we're going to tie this real quick, and this will basically kick off the December monthly lure challenge. Okay, so to tie this, you'll have some UV yarn, okay, right here, and it's got some UV properties. So put it in the water, you can kind of see, so I guess some ultraviolet look to it. Has some white Dacron tying thread, the ice dub UV pearl, and for the tools I'll be using, let's see, a dubbing tool right here. Okay, and on top of that, I'm going to tie it in various ways. I tried one using some other glue. I think it was that ultraviolet glue resin, but this time I'm going to just use Zap-A-Gap to hold it in place, because instead of using the mop fly nodule or mop nodule, like a little microfiber dust mop, I'm going to be using this UV yarn instead. Okay, and when you actually fish it, it's on a jig fly hook. I've got these various sizes, 1/80th and 1/24th ounce. When it's fished, it's actually going to be fished in this direction with the hook up, and this will kind of flop around in the back, and that little dubbing thing should be enough to catch the trout's eye, and maybe I might be able to get a bruiser or two on this one. All right, and I tried tying these in different lengths. So this is more of a shorter length, more like a maybe a little trout worm thing or trout magnet, and then this one's more of the mop fly look. Okay, so to tie it, very simple: white tying thread, a jig fly hook. Oh, bear with me. A jig fly hook. In this case, I'm going to use the 1/80th ounce. All right, and then I'll take advantage of that dubbing tool. And then other than that, I've got some Zap-A-Gap. All right, so let's start off. Okay, and let me show you the fly we're tying right there for those that just joined. Okay, this is going to be December's lure challenge. The UV mop yarn fly. Okay, and we'll see how big a fish I can get with this. All right, so I'll start out with the jig fly hook. It's going to be 1/80th ounce right here, and we'll tie it upside down initially. And it's very simple. I mean, this will be fairly quick. Okay, little tying thread. I'll just start at right by the little lead jig piece and work my way all the way down to the bend of the hook, and then back up, stopping about midway up the shank. Cut the excess, and then get a piece of that UV yarn. All right, and to make it simple, I just cut a piece here because you're going to adjust it to the length you want. Okay. And we'll tie in one side right here. And I'm going to tie it where I'm going to take advantage of this extra piece here to kind of give it some bulk. Okay. Let me see if I can blow it up a little bit for you. Right there. Well, let's see. Go back a little bit here. There we go. I think you can see that. Okay. So I'm going to place this here. Start off with some loose wraps, and then I'll lock it down. Okay. And I want it to bulk up the head over here where I tied it in past the midway point going forward, just to give it some more bulkiness. Okay. And the next thing is I'll just flip it over and tie. Well, this is pretty long. Let me cut it. We don't need it that long. Okay. All right. And then I'm going to take the other end and I'm going to tie it in here again, tying it in initially at that midway point and give it that bulkiness. Okay. All right. And then at this point, I'll put a half hitch, throw it onto the jig fly hook, and I'll put the thread on a little bobbin cradle thing that I have here. And at this point, all you do is just kind of twist. All right. So it'll be just like one of those little dust mop modules. I'm just twisting it, and I kind of cut it longer than I need, mainly because I want a little bit of excess to put in that glue. All right, so I'm just going to use some Zap-A-Gap glue here. And I'm going to put it right at the tip here, where I'm going to basically cut it here in a moment. Put that set, and I'm going to put it at the base right here, just so I don't have it loose coming unwinding. All right, and I'll let go, and you can see it's already holding. At this point, I'm just going to cut off right behind where I put the glue, and there it is. There's my mop. Okay. All right, so almost done already. Okay. So at this point, we'll let that dry, but we'll start building a dubbing loop. Okay. I already have a piece that I cut off here, so let me go ahead and clear that out. All right, so let's pop that. And this is the monthly, December's monthly lure challenge. I'm going to see how big a fish I can catch with this thing right here for the month of December. All right. Hopefully it'll be bigger than the 11-inch bass that was November's banned fishing fly monthly lure challenge. All right, so we'll put the dubbing loop. I'll just hook it on to one of these ears. Here, 2 little ears, I call them. And I'll put it right here, flip it around like so, like that. Okay. All right, and then I'll loosen it and start tying it in here in a moment. Let me just get it going here. All right, tie it in, making sure that the dubbing loop is just over here at the base of where I tied in not the chenille, but the mop fly yarn. And there's a gap now right here, and that is going to be my dubbing loop. And you have the option to where you can make a little dubbing noodle where you twist it on, but I find that this kind of I get tighter wraps when I use this method, the dubbing loop. So at this point, I'll just pull out some dubbing, just a little bit of like that, and I'll work it in between the dubbing loop. Okay, and I like a lot, so I'm going to do 2 deals of this. All right, just making sure it's right in between the loops. Okay, grab some more over here. And we're pretty much going to be building a collar just ahead of the mop yarn. Okay. All right. So there it is. All right. Now I'll start twisting. And as I twist it, I'm going to kind of push it up the length of the dubbing loop. Okay. Just to make sure that I'm getting some good coverage. All right. And just kind of moving it up and down. All right, just making sure I have a nice tight dubbing, and get it right up in there. There we go. That's pretty good right there. Now this point I'll close the loop. So now it's just tightened on itself here. And now I'll just take advantage of the peak rotary vise and just start building that collar. So I'm going to build a pretty thick collar initially at the base of that yarn, and then I'll slowly start bringing it forward. Okay. And I really want it to be bushy. Okay. So at this point, it's really bushy. You can see that. All right. And then I'll secure the dubbing loop in place with a wrap, 2 wraps behind, 2 wraps in front, and then 1 wrap behind. And at that point, I'll cut off the end of the dubbing loop. Okay. And then at this point, we'll just take our whip finish tool and whip finish knot it. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we'll just do another 4 wrap whip finish knot. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. And that's it. So this is December's monthly lure challenge. It's going to be the UV mop fly. Okay. And you can adjust the length of the tails. These are about 1 inch. And I'm just going to let it be all buggy looking. All right. And when I fish it, it'll be under a strike indicator, and it's pretty much just going to kind of float there and kind of undulate in the water. And if it's like the other mop flies I've used, I should get a decent fish or 2. All right. So there's one that I tied that was a little shorter tail. Okay. And then 2 more that are about 1 inch. Yeah, about 1 inch in size. Okay. All right. So for the rest of this month, I'll be fishing different flies, but for the most part, I'll be kind of heavily picking on this one here and seeing how big a fish can I catch with a mop fly, or at least December's monthly lure challenge. All right. So stay tuned for more. As soon as I can get out there, I'm going to be taking out the fly rod and seeing what we can do with these babies. And so with that, this kicks off December's monthly lure challenge, the mop yarn fly, UV mop yarn fly. All right. Thanks for joining, and stay tuned for more. Take care.